So, I mean, the first thing is, do you think he should get sacked?
Yes.
Yeah.
But let's look at all the managers they've sacked. It doesn't make a difference.
No. And like, yes, they were horrible in this game. Yeah. And then Bruno gets sent off. And then you're like, well, okay, the game is what it is after that. But before he got sent off, they would have lost the game anyway.
Hello and welcome to the Know The Score podcast with myself, Luke Kempner, and Harry Daniels. Harry, how are you?
I'm doing very well. Teams are flying. Good
You're
weekend.
Back sweaty?
Already? It's because I've been sat waiting 20 minutes for you to turn up.
What are you talking about 20 minutes? I turned up at 4 minutes past 10.
Yeah.
Although we have started at 20. You think you got a busy life, right? Yeah. I've had to get my daughter to nursery.
Yeah.
For those of you who don't know, I am also in Les Miserables, the musical that swept the world.
It swept the world because you're in it.
Yes, exactly. And I don't really like talking about it. I'm a bit embarrassed. It's not something I particularly like to mention. But I'm in Les Miserables, and we have a new cast starting in 2 weeks' time.
Yeah.
So I have to be at rehearsals for this new cast, which is why I'm super, super busy. Which is why we're recording earlier. Which is why I was watching Match of the Day and doing my prep on the train.
Yep.
Right, so any gaps in my knowledge, please blame the musical that swept the world. Okay, I'll sing the answers.
Okay.
But yes, you've got lovely. What Chelsea shirt is this?
It's just one of the. I love the blacked out shirts because they are slightly less obvious.
Is it very? It's an old one.
Yeah, it is. It's got the old logo on. I love it.
It's very nice.
Yeah.
I don't like the CFC built into the shirt though. You can see where it's like CF, and it's written upside down. Yeah. Is that so you can see it?
No, this is the sponsor.
No, the bit that's in the kit. No, not the embroidered bit.
Oh, right, this bit.
Yeah, but it's like upside down.
This is great for the people listening on podcast.
If you're listening on podcast, Harry is wearing.
It's not written upside down.
Some of it is.
Oh yeah, it is.
So you can look down and go, oh yeah, I've got a Chelsea shirt on.
If you're listening on podcast, welcome.
Welcome. We have welcome again. This is episode
4.
Episode 5. We include episode
Gameweek
0.
6.
Gameweek 6. We have lots of matches to discuss.
We
do. Did you manage to watch? Because you were away this weekend.
I was.
What is your setup like, Harry? Because, look, we see you with people who are listening as well. Like, we consider you like the FPL guru, right? I certainly do.
Well, that's very kind.
We won't get it.
After my FPL points
this week. But also, like, I'm not a banter merchant. I'm not a guy that's going to be like, oh, you did rubbish on your wildcard. I'm not that guy. But we consider you the guru.
You are going to be that guy.
No, I'm not. I consider you the guru. You're the best FPL player. I mean, FPL Salah is up there, to be fair. But I consider you the best FPL player. You're fantastic, right? But how do you watch all the games? Because I sort of imagine you a bit like a sort of super villain in like Dr. X or something with like 40 screens.
Yeah, no.
And you've got like some like African second division just in case that guy comes to the Premier League. What is your setup at home like?
So, I mean, I have my setup where I work at my desk, and then I have just like a normal living room with a TV like you have. Like, it's just the same.
Like normal people. Right.
Like, just the same. Like, I don't have loads of screens. I don't watch like 3 o'clock games. I watch Soccer Saturday. And I watch the 12:30 normally, highlights on Sky Sports.
But because you're a pro, right? I just do this for fun, right? I've my main job, which is my main job is entertaining 1,500 people a night, right? Your
That's
job,
what you're here to do here as well.
Your job is FPL guru. You're a football guy. So like, do you have to say to Holly like, you can't interrupt me? I'm watching the games.
No, Holly's very good at like
because it's your job,
booking stuff and like looking at the fixtures to know.
She plans her week around the fixture.
She doesn't really and I don't mind missing games that are on telly. Like, of course, if it's Chelsea and I'm going to go, I want to go and watch the game. Yeah. But in terms of like making sure I'm at home, I mean, I don't really. Like, I'm often out when.
So you will catch up later and stuff like that. So see,
those Sky Sports highlights on YouTube get rinsed every weekend on double speed.
Yeah,
watch them all.
I've just caught up on those.
Yeah.
So you're ruining the illusion. I just had this guy. You're like, Holly, don't interrupt. I am watching Brentford versus West Ham now. Okay, well, look, let's get into the fixtures. Before we start, though, we have our question this week.
Question of the week, as we're going to do at the top every single week.
Yeah.
This week, we asked for some submissions on Twitter, so we've got those as well as some we've sent in on YouTube. So the question is, what is the biggest mistake a club has made in selling a player?
Yeah, now this has come from Palmer.
Yeah.
Right? So Cole Palmer, I keep wanting to say Carlton Palmer, Barclaysman. Carlton Palmer, I would say. But Cole Palmer, is he the worst sale? Obviously, Manchester City sold him last year.
Yeah.
50 million, was it?
40 million.
40. I mean, the most unbelievable bargain. right? You think he's better than Saka. You're incorrect. But is he the worst sale from a club ever? Now, it's a difficult one, this, right? Because I was trying to think of examples. We were texting about examples, and then some of them are sort of arguable, because we had other ones that's like Chelsea selling Salah to Fiorentina, Chelsea selling Kevin De Bruyne to Wolfsburg. I was coming up with ones like Van Persie. I think Arsenal selling Van Persie to Man United and then in winning the league immediately afterwards. But I don't know if that one works because we didn't want to sell him.
No. Well, the other thing to add on this is the whole big caveat I have when people say Chelsea should have never have sold Salah and should never have sold Kevin De Bruyne
is a prepped argument.
It is that player wouldn't be what they are now if we had not sold him. Because he wouldn't have got the minute and they wouldn't have got the game time to develop into the player they are now if they'd have sat at Chelsea, probably on the bench with however many other players. Like Salah was a part-time player and De Bruyne was similar when they were both at Chelsea.
You sound like a lawyer. You're like,
you're on my argument. Okay, point one, this is it. So the big ones that people always say is Salah and De Bruyne leaving Chelsea. But if they'd have sat at Chelsea and not gone to Roma, not gone to Fiorentina, not gone to Wolfsburg, like would they be the footballers they are now? Maybe eventually, but I'm just not sure I see them being as good, which is it. So like us selling those players looks stupid now. Imagine this Chelsea team had those two in it, although we wouldn't have bought Cole Palmer. So it's a win-win really for all teams involved.
But we want you to get involved. We want you to send in your opinions on this. Can you think of some others? Some other ones that I came up with is Arsenal. See, we had Kane in our youth team.
Yeah.
Sold him because they thought he was too short. I mean, like, it's, sliding doors moment.
It is. The world
could have been playing for Arsenal. Who'd have thought? Would have been amazing.
People love we're going to bring up Kane every week just so you can talk like
me too.
Yeah.
I also like, there's always this picture of Harry Kane's being at the 2004 title. The last time we won the title. Yeah. That's the first mention of Arsenal this week.
And first mention of them winning the title.
Yeah, we'll get there. So, yes. So Harry Kane, I don't know if that one counts, but we had him in the youth team. Because obviously he went on a load of loans as well. So he not gone on those loans, does he?
That picture of, I think it's Kane and Vardy, sat on the bench together. Is Fleetwood Town as well? I don't know why I think it was them. And
I think it's for... Oh, is it?
Is
I
some
thought it was Leicester. Because he went to Leicester, Kane.
Maybe.
I think they're on the bench at Leicester.
And they're sat together, and it's like now they are two of the biggest goal scorers in recent Premier League.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think Arsenal selling Giroud to Chelsea. Now, this was all to enable Aubameyang. So we had to sell Giroud.
What a couple of switches that was for
you. Had to sell...
which of our many strikers did we sell at the time?
To sell Batshuayi to Dortmund, which meant Dortmund would sell us Aubameyang.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Probably.
I think that's right.
And we took Giroud. And we got the best of the lot.
I mean, Aubameyang was unbelievable for us. So I always argue that was like...
Giroud was better for Chelsea than Aubameyang was for Arsenal.
You're just trying to make clips so people send in.
No, but it's true.
It's what you're trying to do. There's this clickbait. When we started this, Harry didn't want to do clickbait, right? He's just done some clickbait. There you go.
It's not true.
It is.
Did Giroud not do better at Chelsea than Aubameyang did at Arsenal?
Did he win many trophies?
Yes. FA Cup, Europa League, and the Prem.
Did he win the... No, I don't
When did he join? When did he join? Was he not in the Conte?
No, he's after.
No, because Batshuayi won the league, so it can't have been.
No,
he definitely won.
I think as well, not just him going to Chelsea, because then obviously he went to Milan. He did really well there. He did really well for France. I mean, that doesn't count because we didn't sell him to France. But I just don't think when we sold Giroud how many goals we would expect him to continue to score. And actually, there was many games when we really, really, really could have done with Giroud in that time. So there's that one. Arsenal selling Emil Smith-Rowe this year. I think Juventus selling Henry, second mention of Arsenal, third including the Giroud one. Juventus selling Henry. I don't think they realised the player they had. Real Madrid selling Samuel Eto'o. Look at the career he went on to have. I think Real Madrid selling Odegaard.
Yeah.
I know he went on some loans, but
as well. And the other one I've got, talking of Chelsea and Arsenal, you'd probably put Kai Havertz going the other way around. Scoring at the weekend.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
That goal is so lucky.
But it's one of those that, again, if Kai Havertz had been sat at Chelsea for the past 6 months or past year and a half, he's not going to have done what he's done at Arsenal. It's just not, it wouldn't have worked. And some players don't work at certain clubs.
Though.
Maybe.
I'd rather have him there than Jackson.
Oh, behave. I'm not going to sit here. And I was out for dinner last night with people, and we won 4-2, and they were still slating Jackson. I'm not going to sit here and have it. I'm not having it.
Him. I'm just saying Havertz is the best striker in the league at the moment, and I clickbait. Yes. So well, look. Let's send us your ones in. Send any ones that you can think of.
Mine. I'm going to put between Salah and De Bruyne. I'm going to put Salah
as the worst sell ever.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I think Salah would have achieved more than De Bruyne would have done. It's close between the two. I feel like they have to be up there, right? Because I don't think the jury's out. I mean, like, I do think the Palmer from City, like at the time, 40 million seemed a good deal.
Yep.
But I look at it now and think, if we sold him now, I know he's on a 9-year contract.
130 million.
He'd be one of the most expensive players in world football now. So he must be up there. And if he does it for the rest of the season, then he will be up there as one of the... And like, they need him, right? Haaland's got a little cut on his foot. They could do with Cole Palmer banging in 4 goals.
Especially with De Bruyne out. What did make me laugh was they said to Cole Palmer, they were like, oh, there's been lots of comparisons to you to Dennis Bergkamp. And he was like, oh, I'm too young to remember. and I watched that with a single tear just dripping down my face going, oh, I remember Dennis Bergkamp. No idea, mate. Watch some clips.
The clips of Cole Palmer's interviews crack me up. The guy is so funny and he doesn't mean to be. Yeah. The clip of him going, I like chippy chips. You've seen that one?
No.
He was asked in an interview like, oh, what do you like after a game? It's like, oh, chippy chips. You know, like the chips you get from a chippy? Yeah, those ones. If it's not them, I won't have them.
Really? I've not seen him interviewed that much. Is he got a Manchester accent?
Yeah.
Amazing.
You should watch them. He's so good.
Chippy chips.
We'll talk about him.
And also, we will get there as well, but like his celebration, which I love. And I feel like FPL started that, didn't it?
Do you think?
I feel like it was on Twitter, everyone saying he was Cole Palmer.
Maybe.
So he adopts this, which I think is a brilliant celebration. And now, is that on the new FIFA?
Yeah, probably.
I hope so. Do sponsor us, FIFA. I'd like a free,
and then
free
Morgan
game.
Rogers taking his celebration.
Did he?
Yeah, he did it.
Well, doesn't work. Cold Rogers.
No, but it's now just a thing. It's like
freezing Rogers.
It's now just like an iconic celebration.
I'll get your own celebration, Morgan Rogers.
Yeah,
that's Cole Palmer's.
Yeah.
But then, did you see Tim Sherwood? Right, the clown is Tim Sherwood, who was doing Soccer Saturday.
Yeah,
and he was like, "Oh, Cole Palmer scored again," and then he did the celebration. I don't think a man in his mid-50s should be doing the Cole Palmer celebration.
I think you've done it too much already.
I'm not a man in my 50s.
No, but I still think you're pushing it.
Right. Okay. Well, look, let's get on to the games. Do send those in. Before we do that, though, please do follow the podcast. You can like it.
Yeah. Subscribe. And 5-star review.
Don't just like it, physically like it.
Yeah.
On YouTube.
Enjoy it and like it.
Enjoy it and like it. That was cool when you did that. Oh my God!
Yeah, not doing that again.
You did say Garms before the show.
No.
Okay, so
don't rattle me out like that.
Do that. Like it, right? Subscribe to it.
Yeah.
Comment. Just comment.
Let us know the
things
biggest
you like.
Yeah. Mistake of a player sold. 5-star review.
Start a discussion point as well. I quite like it.
These questions we have at the beginning, we really want to know you to ask us rather than we've got some in the pipeline.
Yeah,
for next week, so we'll do those. But yeah,
and Harry and I will always go on there and answer your comments because we quite enjoy that. It's a fun thing to do on the train. Yes. I'm going to perform in Les Mis. Do comment on there because we do like the discussions.
Yeah, this non-self-centered podcast that we've got going.
Listen, I've given you 4 episodes of where my ego hasn't taken over the podcast, but enough's enough.
Here we go.
There we got a new haircut. Right, I'm back in the game.
Yeah.
Here we go.
Right. To talk about thing that's going to blow your ego, let's talk Newcastle 1, Manchester City 1.
Away the lads! Oh, I bloody love that. That was amazing. Because I was also watching this game just because it was the early kickoff, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was.
So so the show, now I'm just mentioning Les Mis again, but the show starts at 2 o'clock or 2:30 on a Saturday. So I thought that early kickoff's great. Can watch that, getting ready, all the rest of it. So, and then it puts me in the mood. So to see City drop some points, fantastic. Off you go, Harry.
It was the best performance we've seen all season from Newcastle. Alexander Isak, broken toe, so he didn't feature, and you think, oh, well, City are going to walk it over. But here we go. I will look forward to seeing the stats all week of City with and without Rodri. I tweeted it on Saturday, being like, as soon as they drop points without him, they've got the graphics in a little folder. Here we go.
But it was even before.
Yeah.
They've had them all week.
Had them out.
Yeah.
And then this happens, and you're like, well, yeah. I mean, Newcastle were really good. Defended really well. Like Joelinton and Bruno Guimaraes in that midfield were so good. Very impressed with them. Best performance we had. Lewis Hall was really good. Defended really well. Like Erling Haaland has been incredible this season and didn't get nearly enough. Had a little cut on his ankle.
What was that? Was that a challenge?
It was a challenge. So, and it ripped his sock.
His socky walk.
Yeah.
Yeah. It did. That's what
you don't have much sympathy for him. No. So maybe that slowed them down. But yeah, they
stay humble. Stay humble. Yeah. Stay humble, eh? Stay humble. Stay humble. Stay humble.
We're not making clips.
I am. You can have that. Stay humble, eh?
But then no De Bruyne and no Rodri. And they then didn't play Foden while those two were out. What has Foden done to Pep that he's not playing? Something has happened because he was so good last year. And then for Foden and then Savinho not to be in this starting lineup. And they played all of Kovacic, Rico Lewis, Gundogan and Bernardo Silva in midfield. It's just like they had Grealish and Haaland to create chances and that was it. It felt like Pep has had moments in his managerial career at City where I feel like he's overmanaged it. The Champions League final against Chelsea was a big one where he dropped Rodri.
Bringing it back to Chelsea. Can't believe you do that, man.
He dropped Rodri for that game. And this felt the same. Where was the usual, Kovacic, okay, it wasn't Rodri, so put someone else in there. Then keep your wingers there, where was Savinho? Foden needed to start playing more games with De Bruyne not out and Rodri not there.
PFA Player of the Year last year.
And he hasn't started a game for them, I don't think, this season.
Is that, though? Because, look, he held Rodri back.
Yeah.
And as soon as Rodri played, he did his ACL. Now, I don't know. I'm not a doctor. It's a shock, I know, but I'm not a doctor. So I don't know whether that's a fatigue thing.
I think it was.
The ACL.
So many minutes.
But then, so maybe he's holding Foden back because he's worried he's not fit enough.
But he literally said in the press conference about 2 weeks ago that he's ready to play 90 minutes.
Really?
So
do we also think that Pep is a weirdo?
God, honestly.
He is, though.
You've come with an agenda this morning.
No, but he is. This week, I found it so weird. Him and Mikel are mates, right?
It's like they've seen people saying, oh, we like this rivalry and we like them going at each other. And they've both gone for it.
I personally think, I thought you made some really good points last week about more recognising the moods of players like Anthony Gordon. You talked about Heung-min Son, and where their heads were at. And I wonder if I was watching all the press conferences. It seems that Arsenal completely rattled City, but I don't think that is what's happened. I think Pep has gone, we need a siege mentality. Everyone needs to be against us.
Yeah.
If Mikel knows everything so much about the 115 judges, he needs to come forward and say it. He knows Mikel wasn't talking about that. He knows that, surely. Yeah. And it feels like he's just I know what I can do. I can stoke everything up. It's us against them. Because they must be losing ways to motivate that team.
And I also think he worried I think he must know how reliant they are on Rodri. And I think they will have gone, we can't not win this game. The first one without him.
Yeah.
If we don't win this, everyone's going to be on it like a rash. And they're going to be this week. Everyone talking about City and Arsenal are going to say, oh, City without Rodri now. Oh, is it? And we looked at it and Arsenal are favourites to win the league now.
Joint. Isn't it evens?
No, you're evens in terms of the odds and they're 2-1 to win the league. So, yeah, I mean, all credit to Eddie Howe and Newcastle, setting up without Alexander Isak to go in for straight, did very well. City didn't look nearly creative enough, particularly in the first half. Ilkay Gundogan had I wouldn't say a horror performance, but it was not Ilkay Gundogan's best performance we've seen in Manchester City. He came off after 66 minutes, and Pep rarely does that.
But that's why Foden surely should be playing in there.
Yeah.
But it's
and they looked so much better when he came on.
It's like when Grealish had the season of his life when they won the treble, and then he didn't play at all. He didn't start the next season.
He looked good again, though.
Yeah, he did.
I just think Foden in there with Grealish and with Savinho on the right-hand side with Haaland up front, and they will just create enough chances. And then, Doku can come off. And when De Bruyne's back as well, they throw him in there. They're just going to have to score more goals than teams with Rodri being out.
Which is what I thought they would. I thought they would come and be 4-1 up. Hence why I put Haaland as my captain. But on FPL, a sort of FPL related question. With Guardiola, I know at the beginning of the season, it was if he's not going to get forward as much as he had the season before. Now, obviously, he scored in this game. Really lovely finish. Yeah. What was his positioning like? Is he starting to play like a left winger again?
Yeah, so it's basically whoever plays at right back will change how Guardiola plays. So although Rico Lewis played, he actually played in midfield and Walker played. So Walker doesn't go forward. So that allows Gvardiol to get really far forward and get in the box. And he finishes like any winger or any forward you would want. Like his finishing is great. So when there's Walker in the team, Gvardiol is great. Like he gets so far forward and he's so involved. But when Rico Lewis plays at right back and Gvardiol is at left back, it's then Rico Lewis that goes. Right? But in this situation, all three of them played. So it's Walker that sits, Lewis is in midfield, who also goes, and Gvardiol goes as well. So he basically depends on whether we see Walker in that lineup or not. One thing I did want to talk about in this game is, have you seen the penalty for Newcastle?
Yes. Do you know what? I need to see it slowed down, because I know on Match of the Day they talked about how it wasn't a penalty.
Yeah.
I think I saw Alan Shearer saying we were absolutely robbed. So I when I saw it in real time, that's how they say it, don't they? When I saw it in real time, it looked a pen. So talk to me. Was it a pen?
So I don't think it was a pen. I just don't think. Does he just like
try to leave his leg there and then doesn't get touched? Is that what happens?
Yeah, and I think there's a couple of things this weekend we'll talk about where I just feel like VAR have just said, right, we're not getting involved this weekend, and we'll talk about it in the Spurs game as well. Like Man United fans, it's no real saving grace, but we'll talk about the Bruno Fernandes one. I don't think this Anthony Gordon one was a penalty. I don't think there's enough contact on it. I see it's one of those where after he goes past the goalkeeper, I see him just leaving his legs like he's looking for contact, not like he's being touched.
Yes.
That being said, Joe Linton's about 20 minutes later when it was 1-1, I think is a penalty.
Okay.
So I think you get one, you don't get the other. I think Newcastle fans feel like they've been robbed because the Joe Linton one looks like more of a penalty than the Anthony Gordon was. I think it was either a Kanji or Walker. And as for Kyle Walker, again, playing Gordon onside for the penalty, just like 3 yards deeper than the rest of the Manchester City defence. I love Kyle Walker as an England fullback, but I worry that his days...
Legs are gone.
I don't think his legs are gone.
So he's 34 now?
I think his footballing brain is going with things like that. But the player is just holding off Joe Linton. No ability to get the ball for the Joe Linton one. And Joe Linton goes down and the ref waves it away. So I think the Joe Linton one is, and the Anthony Gordon one isn't.
What are you saying? Do you think they sort of even things up a bit?
I don't necessarily think so. Right, I think as we said with a few of the others, like the VAR doesn't want to get involved. And they just left both on-field decisions as on-field decisions.
On the VAR, did you see last night Jose Mourinho on Fenerbahce?
No.
So last night, Fenerbahce had, I don't know what happened exactly, but there was an incident which Mourinho didn't agree with. So then he put the laptop up of the incident that the ref had waved away, and he put the laptop in front of the camera.
And showed.
So when the camera cut to that obviously that camera 6 or whatever, there was Jose Mourinho's laptop with his decision, and he got booked for it. The referee come and booked him. Yeah, I love that.
I love Mourinho so much.
I've always hated Mourinho, like for the things he said, especially it was the rivalry with Wenger.
Yeah.
He's a specialist in failure and all that sort of stuff. And I just can't an Arsenal mention.
A tally.
Yeah, I know, it's fine. If we had time to do ding, we would put those in.
£1 to charity for every time.
Absolutely not. I haven't got any money.
Arsenal. You wouldn't have any left. I
don't drive a Lamborghini like you do.
Yeah.
But there's lots of things that he does and says for effect, like the sort of Tottenham thing where it's just like the only team I didn't win a trophy, Tottenham. They second me before the
and then the 3 for me, 2 for you.
Yeah. There's a sort of respect. Like there's lots of stuff that I really love him.
Yeah.
And I think and actually when I watched that documentary, the All or Nothing one, I thought he came across brilliantly.
Yeah.
When he told Carl Walker-Peters he had too many names. Like, I think he's great.
Yeah.
So that made me laugh a lot. But anyway, yes, I've not seen that second decision. But I'd hate to think they're evening stuff up. Because, I don't want to get into a VAR discussion. But I thought, finally, after last year, it was so terrible last year, Wolves tried to get rid of VAR altogether. They had the vote. Like, no, we're going to keep VAR.
Yeah.
Right? So I thought, do you know what? We've had the Euros and VAR was brilliant in the Euros as it always is. Why is it we can't get it right in this country? It's bizarre.
Yeah.
And it's wrong all the time.
And
we're going to get into other games.
Yeah, there's more.
Let's move on to the Arsenal game where there was more VAR controversies and stuff that they got wrong. But
4-2.
4-2. What's your verdict on this? Because I'll get into what I think.
But... I mean, it's that winning mentality that you win games. It's just like you winning this game and City not getting over the line in their game, it just feels like a bit of a swinging closing doors moment that we've had. I expected you to win this game. I did not expect it in the manner that you won it. James Justin coming in with 2 goals. That second goal has got to be up there for goal of the season.
I know. Well, that's
what a strike.
I had people like messaging me going, "Oh, you love that Duran goal. There's already been a better goal than James Justin." I mean, my interesting you say, like, you didn't expect the game to go like that. When Arsenal were 2-0 up at half-time, that is exactly how I thought the game would go. And I thought we would control the second half, come out and win 3-0, clean sheet. Raya and Gabriel in my fantasy team. Yeah. Yes, please. Yum, yum. Yeah. Yum, yum, yum. But that didn't happen.
No.
And interestingly, we'll get onto the controversy of the goals, because after that, then straight after the second half, they get a really lucky goal, Leicester, right? There's a lot of people talking, saying like, "Oh, Arsenal were lucky. Arsenal were lucky. Yeah, so you were lucky winning in the last minute." Well, their first goal is bizarre. It's a deflection off Havertz's back. Yeah. And I mean, the Justin goal is absolutely amazing. Yeah. Interesting. You know about James Justin and his FPL?
Yeah, he benched himself and played double Arsenal defence.
I would love to know if there's any part of him.
The thing is, he's really good at FPL.
Is he?
Like, there's a league that we can track with the best, with the Premier League players, and he's the top every year.
Really?
Like, he's really good at FPL. He'll be cursing himself for it as well.
I wonder at what point. I'd love to be able to zoom in.
At what point
in his head does he go, "Oh no"?
After the second one goes in, he's like,
"That's -1, -2."
Bench myself.
He's probably sitting there going, "Can we check if Mbumo's played?"
Yeah. Did anyone not start?
yeah, exactly. But yes, 2 cracking goals from James. One cracking goal from James Justin, one very unlucky. If I'm very lucky. And their XG was 0.27. Yeah. Right, and Arsenal's XG was nearly 5. Yeah. But and Trossard's goal, it was really interesting that Mika Richards did a really good analysis. Big Meeks. So he did some good analysis on Arsenal's corners and how that they started doubling up on Gabriel, right? And which I thought was going to happen at some point. So I wonder whether Arsenal will start making Saliba the guy.
Someone else will become the guy, right?
But what was really interesting is looking at how the back post is always free. So Martinelli was free at the back post, Trossard was free at the back post, and minutes before the Trossard goal, he had a chance where he was free at the back post. Yeah. Right? And then a couple of minutes later, because Arsenal had 17 corners, then a couple of minutes later, Trossard, you can say it's a bit unlucky from Leicester, but it's not when their keeper, Hermansen, had made some unbelievable saves.
It's one of those Premier League goalkeeping performance of the season so far.
The best goalkeeping performance since David De Gea did it against Arsenal as well. I remember that game. But unbelievable. He'll never have a game like that in his life.
No. Unbelievable. You should have been 4 goals clear by the time that those winners went in.
So that's what I mean when I'm saying I don't think Arsenal have been unlucky. And what I've liked, I don't think Arsenal have been lucky. What I really liked is that we've had a tough start to the season, and that's why I wasn't sort of busting a gut to get players like Saka into my team, because I didn't see us creating lots of chances. I saw us being very defensively solid, but without Odegaard, I didn't see us creating lots of chances. But my God, we did.
Yeah, and Saka did. I think he was top for the most big chances. Eight big chances created in a single game.
Take-ons and all the rest of it. He's unbelievable. He's better than Cole Palmer.
Yeah, well, that's debatable. One of them actually scores those goals. So,
but the first goal is a foul on Vardy, right? So Vardy's pulled back by Saliba, and then Arsenal go up and score the first goal. And and I can't believe VAR didn't get it. I think Vardy was a pain in the bum for the entire game, as he always is against Arsenal. I can't wait to see the back of him. But that is a foul. Yeah. So bizarre they didn't pull that back. In the same way that Saliba pulled Vardy back.
One thing that people want us to talk about on controversies in this game is Calafiori.
Oh yeah.
So you've put that you think the first one was soft.
It's not a yellow.
The first one's not a yellow, but again, it feels like, well, now that he's on a yellow, how do you feel about the second one?
Yeah, he should have been sent off.
This is the thing, and is it one of those where he's gone in at half time saying, "Oh, that one's not a yellow, let me be lenient"?
Maybe. But it's bizarre he doesn't give the other one as a yellow. It's so clearly a yellow card. There was other ones in this game that they didn't show on Match of the Day. Like Oliver Skipp made a horrendous challenge, which could have been a red. And then he made another challenge towards the end of the game when he was already on a yellow. They don't give that. Yeah. There was players kicking, and Ndidi kicking the ball away. I mean, I don't want to see yellow cards for the balls being kicked away. But luckily, Arsenal Twitter, this is why people hate us so much, is because you get Arsenal Twitter fans.
Every time someone kicks the ball away, Arsenal Twitter is all over.
And I wouldn't.
There were a few others, to be fair, like Brennan Johnson Johnson got one this weekend for time wasting, and there were a few others.
But the point is, it's just stupid. Judge it. This is why they don't need to be giving yellows for them, because when you look at all the ones that are missed, and not one of them I think should be a yellow card, but it should be if you're going to send off Trossard, if you're going to send off Declan Rice for nudging the ball away.
Yeah.
Obviously
Trossard booting it halfway across the pitch.
There it comes. So yes, I do think it was a sending off.
So now that we've done Arsenal and we've done City. Of course, we've said that it puts you as bookies' favourites to win the league. Mm-hmm. How do you feel? Because I said it earlier on in the season that I thought you would win the league. I didn't expect Rodri to get injured for the season. So since we've recorded last week, it got announced last Monday, but we haven't recorded since we heard that Rodri's out for the season.
Right, okay,
So how do you feel on the title race now? It does feel that it's in your hands. I don't want to say it because City are able to do it, but we know what the stats of City without Rodri are like. And you winning games like this with City not getting across the line, it does feel a little bit like you've had that difficult start to the season. And are you top?
No, we're joint second.
Okay.
Liverpool top. But I think Liverpool are involved in that conversation. Yep. Maybe even Chelsea are involved in that conversation. Yeah. We'll get there. So how do I feel? I feel like I'm always waiting for us to revert back to what Arsenal were 3 years ago. Yeah. And that doesn't mean, Arsenal bottle it, because I don't believe we've ever bottled it. But I do... we've never bottled it.
You've never bottled it?
No.
Okay.
Sure. So... What?
Sure?
Yeah.
Never bottled it?
No.
Okay.
When did we bottle it?
A couple of years.
We didn't bottle it?
All right.
I love that. Also on that thing, right? People always go, can't believe Arsenal 11 points clear and they bottled it. When City had 2 games in hand.
Yeah, that still makes you 5 points clear.
Yeah, but still, 5 games. And we had to play Man City twice and we lost our best defender.
All right. Well, that's fine.
That was a couple of years ago.
It's not still on your radar. It doesn't matter.
No, exactly. I'm not still thinking about it. Yeah. Do you know what? Plenty of people this week have annoyed me. Going, Roy Keane going, Arsenal playing with 10 men. That doesn't mean they can't attack the ball. They're playing with 10 men. What team never played with 10 men before? And then Man United with 10 men this year. Last night. Or the last time Liverpool played with 10 men against Man City and they lost 6-1 or whatever it was, 5-1. Anyway, where do I see Arsenal in the title? Listen, we got to play Liverpool at I was going to say Highbury at the Emirates in a couple of weeks. Yeah. That's an insanely tough game. I just feel like there's. I don't know where I see Arsenal. We're in with a chance. That's what I've always said. Yep. There's not one bit of me that's going around and go, well, that's it. We're going to win the league now. Not at all. There's loads of really tough games. I'm annoyed. City, I said this last week. I'm annoyed City played Chelsea when they did, because Chelsea away now is a tougher game than it was then. Yeah. But then maybe Arsenal got lucky playing Tottenham and Villa when we did, because they're playing better than when we played them. Yeah. So I'm now looking forward to when Man City have got to play Villa, Man City have got to play Chelsea, Liverpool, Spurs, because now those games feel like there's a chance that they won't win them. Yeah. Where last season it felt like Arsenal and probably actually only Arsenal were a team that could stop Man City. Where this season I do think there's going to be I wonder whether you're not going to need 90 points to win the league this year.
Do you think? Yeah, maybe.
Have I spoken enough?
Yeah. I do think so. I think Liverpool will be in it. I mean, we'll talk about them again. City have got a few weeks now where they have games where they might not be challenged as much, and that might help them to find their groove a little bit without Rodri. But going up in a game where Newcastle found their feet was not the right time for City to be going away to Newcastle. Yeah, I mean, I don't put Chelsea in the title race yet. I'm not getting ahead of myself.
Well, let's move on to Chelsea now.
I mean, 4-2. Created, I think, over 4 XG this game. Cole Palmer, the first player to ever score 4 goals in the first half of a Premier League game. He also had 2 ruled out as well. We put the ball in the back of the net 7 times in that game because of goals that were ruled out correctly for offside. I mean, what a game of football. What I would say is 2 horror shows defensively from both sides. Both teams all over the place from defensive ways. But going forward, creating a whole load of chances. And Cole Palmer does look like a player who he scores twice and he's not done. I don't know. I feel like some players, they score twice and they're 2-0 up and you're like, all right, job done. He's like, I want to score 4.
And they're not tap-ins, man.
No.
That free kick was unbelievable. The one at the near post, the same as he did the week before.
Yeah.
He is unbelievable. Now, we were joking earlier about you said even before we started, you're like, I think Palmer's better than Saka. That's my impression.
I was
of you.
joking.
Well, I did find myself thinking this week, like, there is a debate there.
He doesn't have the longevity of a Saka or a Foden at the moment.
But he is unbelievable.
He is playing so well. He has to be up there for the best player in the league so far this season.
Yeah. And imagine for England, would you have Palmer at the right 8 and then Saka on the right wing?
Yes. So this is the thing. He's playing in the 10 for us, right?
Yeah.
And our wingers as well, like Madueke, Sancho had another really good game. Yeah.
Him and Bellingham in those two 8 positions.
So well.
A side point on Bellingham, if you haven't seen the documentary on YouTube, it is good. Like, essentially, it's just just seeing all the games he played, but you get quite a good insight into Bellingham's background and how good he was last season. Anyway, that's a little side point. But back to Palmer.
Yeah, I mean, outside of Palmer, defensively like a horror show again. Like, we can see twice at home. Like, it was an absolute mess. The first goal, Sanchez comes for a cross, absolutely flaps at it, and then two defenders basically, like the cartoons where they run into each other and they sort of bounce apart, and then puts in an open net. And they were pretty awful defensively as well. So there's a lot of work to do defensively, and that's why I'm like, if we put up that defensive performance against an Arsenal, against a City, against a Liverpool, even a Spurs at the moment, they would put goals past us. So I'm not getting carried away particularly because of that. But going forward, we've said it every week, the firepower that we have in that front line, like Palmer, like Jackson again, just continues to get way too much hate for how incredibly good he is as a footballer. Just one of the league's best strikers, that man.
But on an from an FPL standpoint, there's on Wildcard, no one brought any Chelsea players in. No. You didn't. Obviously, you're regretting that now. But on people that are Wildcarding now, or even just as a general subject, which Chelsea players are you? Because obviously Palmer.
I'd have Palmer, and I'd only have Palmer.
So you wouldn't consider those other players. What about their fixtures going forward? Is there anything there?
We have Forest at home this weekend, which is actually a bit.
You could score 3 goals.
I mean, it is, but it is a bit of a bogey game for us. We've only beaten them since they've been in the Prem. We've beaten them once, and they've been. That's 4 games. 1 win out of 4. It's not great.
Have they had 2 seasons in the
Prem? This is their 3rd year now.
Is it?
Yeah. And then we play Liverpool away.
Yeah.
So let's see how that one goes first. I think Palmer is the one to get from an FPL point of view. But yeah,
not Sancho.
Not right now. I still think they're still they play 60, 70 minutes, and they could easily chop and change and put Neto out there or Mudryk or someone out on that left wing. From a Brighton point of view, a few players short, a few injuries. Of course, João Pedro is still out. They created enough chances, but if you look at their sofa score ratings for their defense, they're all 5 and 6. They had an awful day defensively, giving away too many fouls. Of course, the penalty, the free kicks on the edge of the box as well. Won't necessarily be a day that they look back on with a lot of fondness. But yeah, just 2 teams who wanted all 6 goals came with 4-2 at half time and it ended the same. So from that point of view, things got a bit calmer second half. We tried to get a little bit more solid because we were 2 goals up. We play in Europe on Thursday night, then we play Forest home, then it's international break. So I'm very pleased with how things have gone, given that we lost the opening day looking absolutely horrible against City 2-0. So let's see how things go. I am in no way putting Chelsea anywhere near the title race.
Percentage?
For the title?
Yeah.
5.
Okay.
We'll track how that goes. But I would say we're very much in the top 4 race. And that's where Chelsea fans would have paid so much to be in the top 4 race. Yeah. Even 6 months ago.
Yeah, you have paid so much to be in the top 4 race.
We have paid a lot of money, and we are hopefully going to be in it. Yeah. So, Reece James is still injured, so he's got to come back.
Reece James is injured?
Yeah. Who'd have thought? Yeah, him and Luke Shaw just together.
Didn't he have a tweet that was now we're getting started when he signed his contract, and he's played a game since then, 2 years ago.
But how do you feel? Because I'm very positive about it. We do rely very much on Palmer, but teams rely on people. He is flying.
That's fine.
Front 4
and he's not playing in Europe. He's not in the European squad. Yeah. I think all I'll say is I heard someone on the radio going, Liverpool are dark horses. Liverpool are dark horses for the title. And I wouldn't say Liverpool are dark horses. Liverpool, Arsenal and Man City are the 3 contenders.
Yeah.
But I would say that Chelsea are dark horses. And I think you've got to enjoy, like, even as an Arsenal fan, I always liked Poch's teams. We'll get on to Tottenham at some point today as well. But I like seeing this Chelsea. Just go for it, man.
It's nice seeing a team
fun.
Like not go and just be winning games. Well, we felt like we won this comfortably, and like we didn't want to stop. Like Palmer scores 3 goals, and he's like, I want more.
Yeah.
Like I was telling you,
5th. He was fuming. He didn't score the 5th.
Yeah, he had like in their media stuff before the start of the season, they were getting Palmer to do like 1, 2, 3, and then he was like, "What about 4?"
Yeah,
and they were like, "All right, yeah, do 4," and he's like, 1, 2, 3.
Is that the
4.
TNT when they?
I don't know.
It's like when the TNT, they have these build-up. I always remember that Aubameyang one.
Yeah.
When he was like, "Hey, Gunners, it's nothing personal," and then like he had an absolute horror show against Arsenal. Yes, no, look, I think Chelsea dark horses. Yeah. But let's move on.
I would probably say we are dark horses because I think Liverpool are not, because Liverpool are in.
They're not dark horses
because they are in the race.
Because also as well, Arne Slot has inherited Jurgen Klopp's team, which managers replace managers. Usually they're replacing them because they've been sacked. Yeah. Where Klopp wasn't sacked. I'm running out of energy. Yeah. So that's why he went. Where in this situation, he's just inherited a fantastic team, and they've not even spent any money. So in January they could. Although I do think that is it Zubimendi. Yeah. They got to get a 6. I wonder if a Man City will go in for him.
Yeah. Well, Man City have already been linked. If only they had Calvin Phillips.
Imagine. I know, who did play really well for Ipswich yesterday. Anyway, let's go to Brentford West Ham.
Another early goal. 3 goals inside the first time minute ever. Like,
although they waited 36 seconds instead of the 27 seconds. So, like, come on, guys.
I mean, teams should just put everyone behind the ball for the first minute because they can't score outside of it.
But they have so many players. They had nearly 11 players other than not the goalkeeper. Yeah. But, like, almost in the box.
It's like their game plan. We're like, they'll still be we'll score early and then we'll just not score for the rest of the game.
Yeah, but that's what I mean. It's like they've scored early, but, it's the second week in a row where they have not come out with a victory. Now,
the third one was City, right? Where they lost it.
Yeah.
So
3 in a row.
And I think they haven't scored after that in any of the games. So they score early and then that's it for them.
Yeah, it's an interesting one. I think a useful point for West Ham, who've had a really terrible start. And Boomer again with that unbelievable left foot. Yeah. I mean, he almost doesn't connect like fully. Like, I mean, who am I to criticise? I'd like to do my hamstring at that point and then be off Les Mis for a week. But second time he gets it, but he just gets enough on it, and do you know what I mean? It doesn't it doesn't thunder in. But Brentford have obviously. I don't understand how you can score 3 goals in the first minute of a game 3 weeks in a row and come out of 1 point from 3 of those games. But I think a useful point for West Ham, who did play better in the second half, Souček, the gangly guy. That's
probably the best word to describe Souček.
He just blang, blang, blang. For those of you who are listening, I'm just sort of, it's those guys, that you see outside like a tyre place, like that. New tyres! Come get your new tyres! That's who Souček is.
I don't think they talk.
No, they do. They talk like Souček. Guys, come get your new tyres. This way. Oh, I've scored again. Souček, he gangled his talk like that? Way. Yeah, he does. All right, that's a Croatian accent, isn't it? Is he from Croatia? No, he's not. He's from like Serbia.
Czech Republic, isn't
Brilliant. General former Yugoslavian countries we're going for.
You're getting cancelled for that.
Yeah, again. So he sort of gangled his way one in there. Gangled?
Yeah.
Well, I'm claiming that as a word. But at the end, they didn't let them take the corner. Now, I wonder what you think about this. West Ham got a corner, and then they was like, no, they've run out of time. I was thinking, like...
Just let them take it.
You've got to let them take the corner. And if they don't score for it,
you can't blow the whistle if there's an attack going on, and that still counts as the attack going on. If the ball goes out for the corner again, then fine. But for the first one, I think you let them take it.
Yeah.
But it is what it is. Ended 1-1.
So, ended 1-1. Obviously, I do think both of these teams will be fine. But I think it's a bit of a shame for Brentford because I didn't expect them to play as well as they have, but they're still not getting as many points as they need to or should be. Yeah. And West Ham, it was a lovely little back heel from Bowen as well. Like, I mean, surely these results are gonna turn. Yeah.
I think they've got Ipswich at home this weekend, so
another tough game.
Another tough one. We'll talk about them. They played pretty well this weekend.
Yes. but we will get to them.
Yeah,
they're
Sunday.
one of our Sunday games. So let's move on from Brentford, West Ham. Let's go to
Everton Palace. Everton getting... So last week we had 6 teams without a win.
Okay.
We now have 5 teams without a win. Everton picking up 3 points here. 2-1.
This was nice.
Against Crystal Palace. Crystal Palace, one of the other 5 teams, still without a win 6 weeks into the season.
And they started well. A guy that I wanted to pick out was, sorry, I wrote
Dwight
him down.
McNeil?
No, it was Daichi Kamada.
Okay.
Is that the right pronunciation?
Yeah.
Daichi Kamada. So him, Walton and Eze were fantastic in the first half. And Palace really started this game well. I think Glasner must be pulling his hair out because, Palace at the end of last season have got to understand that, it's not good. You can't live off that forever.
No.
And they played really well in the first half, but Everton came out and Deitch, he took off Lundstrom and brought on Harrison, which made a difference. Dwight McNeil, fantastic performance.
Yeah, really
Dwight
good.
McNeil, I was going to talk to you about this. Like I know from an ITK that Arsenal were inquired about buying another Arsenal mention. Ding about. If someone wants to clip up every Arsenal
Charity's doing well this week.
Yeah. I could give it to Arsenal. But Dwight, I know that Arsenal inquired about buying Dwight McNeil. When I heard about this, I was like, Dwight McNeil? But he started the season really well.
So, they've moved him. He's playing as a 10 because they've signed Ndai to play out on that left wing. And I never thought I would think that McNeil is a 10 and he would play so well doing that role. And he is flying. He is top this season for expected assists, looking at the data, amongst every player in the league. He has been, probably their best player so far this season. Calvert-Lewin not getting on the score sheet.
But would you prefer him in an FPL sense over Calvert-Lewin?
Well,
Dwight McNeil?
Probably not.
Okay.
I'd probably take Calvert-Lewin.
How much is he, Dwight McNeil?
5.4.
5.4 in midfield. But his first goal was fantastic, and his second goal, a little bit of luck.
But a good finish.
But a great finish, but a little bit like... when I first saw it, I thought it was like a Dennis Bergkamp. He'd flicked it over... another Arsenal mention. Flicked it over Nketiah, but he got a little bit of luck there. But a great finish. Yeah. And I'm really pleased for Everton. Because Sean Dyche, they've had a lot of chat. A lot of chat, and they've just been bought by what they called the Free Cringe group, the free quid.
I don't know.
They've just been bought by somebody. So that hopefully things will settle down for them now. And I really like Sean Dyche. He's a Barclaysman.
So what did I say outside of Sean Dyche? I said every single pod we've done so far this season that one man would make a difference to Everton. And who was that man?
Was it Dwight McNeil?
No, it was Jared Branthwaite. And guess who started? Who started his first game this season, the week that Everton get their first win.
But interestingly, and he is brilliant, and he held off Mateta.
And it just means they don't have to play Michael Keane.
Yeah, who is... I can't use a swear word, but bad. But then Tarkowski fouled Mateta in the box. Did you see this?
Yeah.
I didn't think it was a penalty. And then when I watched them do a close-up of it, it's clumsy, and Tarkowski looks straight. Tarkowski, who's got the least English name I've ever heard in his life. But he then turns to the ref and goes, "Oh, God, was that a pen? Oh, no, I'll just carry on." I think that was a penalty on Mateta.
But it wasn't given, 1-0. And they don't want to turn it over. This is the thing.
I know. But, look, Everton did well. They came back, and it was a really good performance in the second half and a bad performance from Crystal Palace. And Palace got a good squad.
Everton, off the ground now.
Yeah, 4 points.
It was going to happen at some point, and they're going to... I think they'll probably be... Well, I don't know. I don't know who's going to go down. We talk about this every week. It's early doors. But I do expect performances like this from them once they've got a fully fit squad. And
because I think we talked last week about how the Villa game, when they lost 3-2, but it wasn't the same as the Bournemouth capitulation. There was a far better performance in there. Calvert-Lewin could have gone 3-1 up in that game. So this game, really good.
Yeah.
And I think, it'd be interesting to see how Everton do. And I think even, we're always thinking about FPL, but I do think that maybe there are some options in there for Everton because of now I think that they've got a good run of games. And I do think...
It's a bit of time for them to start building up.
It's going to be a bit of a change.
Yeah. On the other hand, though, Crystal Palace, they've got Liverpool this weekend, then it's away at Forest, and then it's Spurs. So it doesn't look like a great... run, and suddenly they're gonna if they don't win those 3, they then go away to Wolves and Fulham at home, and then those 2 games are suddenly almost must wins for them.
What are they on? 2 points, 1 point? Palace? Or are they on three draws or something like that?
Let me have a look. I have it up. They have 3 draws. So they are 18th with 3 points. So 3 points is not the end of the world because a win suddenly, bumps you up to like 12th.
But that's the thing about it. Glasner said in his post-match interview, he was sort of like, people need to forget that at one point we were, 5 points away from the relegation.
Yeah.
I know we had a good end to the season, but it can't stay like this. That's an Austrian accent.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah,
good. And that is a key point. Obviously, Palace will be fine with that team. But, like you just said, you go into the next 5-6 games.
Yeah, well, this is the thing. Like, if they don't beat Liverpool, then away at Forest suddenly becomes a massive
they're going to beat
game.
Liverpool now.
Well, yeah, they did last year. 1-0. That was the start of the end of the Klopp downfall at the end of last season. So let's see what happens there. But we'll talk about Liverpool. They were very good this weekend. We'll get onto those once we finish the 3:00 games. But yeah, Now, I've noticed we're already on 50 minutes here, Harry. Wow.
Yeah. We're just, the chat is just flowing. Oh
so
my
the
God.
final game we've got for the
Forest,
3:00. Fulham. Yeah. So Forest went with 2 up top.
Yeah.
They went with Awani and they went with Chris Wood, of course, as well. And they went with Noah Langer and no Hudson-Odoi. Now, I want to ask you a question. How do you feel about... I mean, it's different for Arsenal maybe and maybe for Chelsea, but how do you feel about your team going for a system that is meant to be to disrupt the opposition rather than playing what you want to do as your own game, if that makes sense?
So as in like in the same way that, we'll get there, but Ten Hag, he wants to be a counter-attacking team.
Yeah. But it's like, maybe in games where like a team goes to a back 5 because they think they need to defend and counter. Like I understand Forest maybe doing that because Forest did it when they played against Liverpool, right? And they won. And I get that. But when you're at home to Fulham, it felt a bit much to go and do it there. And they didn't create nearly enough chances in this game. I think Forest were unlucky not to get points. For them to give the Fulham penalty and not give the Forest penalty, I don't think is fair, to be honest. Maybe that's because I own Chris Wood in FPL and I'd have liked the penalty. But I don't think it was a very cagey game. Both teams knew that this feels like one. If they win, they're making leaps and bounds in the league. And if they lose, then it's like, we've lost to a team that's probably going to be rivals to finish in a similar area of the table to us. But it felt like Fulham went into this game doing what they want to do and the way they play football. And Nuno went in with another game plan to try and disrupt Fulham when it felt like a game that they should have gone and done what they do best, if that makes sense.
Well, I think, I always think of like Unai Emery as like the ultimate manager that will plan for the opposition.
Yeah.
They're making them watch their last 50 matches to make sure that they know exactly everything that's going to happen in the match. But they still play their game. So there just has to be a balance. Yeah. And I don't think Forest would have been going into this game going... they'd have been going in this game thinking they could, almost expecting a win against Fulham. But Fulham continue their good start to the season.
Yeah, very good.
Jimenez,
back in the score sheet again.
One goal behind Chicharito for Mexicans.
Okay.
So I think it's nice to see Fulham doing well. All the old Arsenal boys in there. Yeah,
a good performance, another clean sheet from them. It was just it felt like one of those where neither team wanted to lose it. There weren't loads of chances in this game, and it was decided by probably
a bit of a dodgy penalty,
unfair penalty to give to Fulham and not give to Forest. Is probably right with it.
Guys, if you're enjoying it, please do like and subscribe. Follow the podcast. Do a little comment. Anything you disagree with, any of you think you agree with. If you think my hair looks nice, just write it in the comments, man. We want to hear it.
So. The next up, before we get on to the next game, and you can't look at your computer now.
I'm not.
So I have a quiz question for you.
Don't give it away. There's a computer there.
Yeah. So we're looking for... So Cole Palmer scored his Premier League hat-trick from first goal to third goal in 9 minutes and 46 seconds. And that is the 5th fastest hat-trick in Premier League history.
5th fastest hat-trick.
Can you name any of the other 4? If you need hints, I can give you years. I can give you teams. I think one of them you will get. I think the one that's the fastest...
Anelka versus Leicester?
Who?
Anelka versus Leicester?
No.
Oh, is that not in there?
That's not in there.
Wow.
The number one is, I feel like, is the most well known. It happened for a player who moved, was a Liverpool player. It happened in 2015.
Oh
no. It wasn't at Liverpool when he did it.
Mane.
It was. 2 minutes 56 against Aston Villa in 2015. 2 minutes 56 for a hat-trick.
Wow.
Yeah.
For when he was playing for Southampton?
Yep.
Okay. Other fast hat-tricks. I don't think I know any of them.
So the others are much harder. 1994.
Okay, give me a clue.
So 1994 was between Liverpool and Arsenal.
1994?
Yeah.
Liverpool and Arsenal. I don't know. I'll go with Robbie Fowler.
Yes.
Hey.
The second fastest, 4 minutes 33 seconds.
Okay.
Next up was in 2009 in a game between Tottenham and Wigan Athletic.
Tottenham and Wigan Athletic, 2009. Let's go for
striker, English.
Jermaine Defoe?
Correct.
Yes.
And number 4 was in 2008 in a game between Aston Villa and Manchester City.
2008, Aston Villa, Manchester City. Let's go with 2008. Darius Vassell.
Gabriel Agbonlahor.
Oh!
So those are your fastest.
Big Gabriel Agbonlahor.
Those are your 5 fastest Premier League hat-tricks. Let us know in the comments if you've got any of those.
I'm surprised. I would like to know what that Anelka one is.
Well, it wasn't on the list when I Googled it.
Exactly.
Google says you're wrong.
I like that. Yeah. Like a little quiz.
Yeah. It was relevant this week because of Cole Palmer. Of course, Cole Palmer went on and scored again, he just went and leveled it up. But anyway, 4. Yeah. So next up, let's do the later game, the other title contenders in Wolves 1, Liverpool 2.
Yes, this was more along the lines of the Nottingham Forest performance for Liverpool, and less.
But it went right.
It went right in the end, but it was less along the lines of Wolves' performance because they played really well.
It was probably their best performance of the season.
They played really well in the first half. Cunha again getting on the score. No, he didn't get on the score sheet, but he started well.
8 Nori scored.
8 Nori. My mate has decided to call him 8 Nori Mountain High Enough. I think that's a fantastic name.
Yeah, that's an FPL team name. That is.
Ain't Nori Mountain high enough. That's good. But yes, Liverpool, they started slow in this game. And I think Arne Slot is starting to see that you can't do that in the Premier League. But they played really well in the second half. Konate with a fantastic header. He scored against Milan in the week as well. But then it was his mistake. Bad defending for Wolves' goal. For 8 Nori Mountain high enough's goal. But then, and I think this penalty was a little bit soft. What did you think?
Yeah, it's one of those that I just think gets given. Do you know what I mean? It's going to get given. It's probably a penalty, but I don't love
Interesting. I sort of say that I think they're so often not given those penalties. Do you think? But maybe I've got that wrong. And obviously Salah doesn't miss from there. Salah had another chance that was passed to him by, who is it who passed to him?
Lamina?
Oh, Lamina. Yeah. So, and I immediately thought, Lamina's definitely captain Salah. He literally just passed it to him. Yeah. Couldn't believe he didn't score that.
Trent was booked for kicking the ball away. I'd just like to mention that before you say it's only Arsenal. Trent was booked for kicking the ball away about half an hour into this game.
Okay.
But yeah, it did feel like the Forest game, as you said, that Liverpool created lots of chances and they went and won it rather than struggling to finish them.
Yeah. I think it's... we're going to have to see what happens with Wolves now because obviously they've had this difficult start and you can't just keep saying they played really well and then didn't get the points.
Well, they go away to Brentford this weekend, so that'll be interesting.
So they'll be 1-0 down.
They'll be 1-0 down after a minute, and then Brentford won't score again. So it's just how many Wolves want to go and score.
How many can you get in the other 89 minutes? Yeah. Well, Liverpool 5 wins from 6. Going really well.
They wish they won that Forest game so much now. Imagine being unbeaten with City without Rodri now.
Only Arsenal, Man City unbeaten now.
Yeah.
So yes, it was Liverpool got out of there with a win. And Liverpool, I think it's strange that it's been so often talked about as Arsenal and Man City as these title rivals because Liverpool were so close last season, just kind of fell away at the end. I think they look better this season.
So we'll
I think they're a little more solid this season.
I think they've unlocked a few more players that we didn't... I felt like last year they were great because they were, Luis Diaz, it was Darwin, it was Jota, Salah, and they were scoring so many goals. But I feel I'm much more impressed by their midfield this year. Gravenberch and Szoboszlai as well. Yeah. Szoboszlai's added goals.
He had a big chance.
He had a big chance, and he's been very good. And those two in midfield have been very good this season that I didn't look last year and think I was impressed by that part of their team as much as I have been this year.
One problem I do have is Alisson's shaved his beard off.
Yeah, doesn't look.
Don't shave your beard off.
I just remember that goal he scored from the corner, and the beard is now so iconic because of that.
He's got the best beard in the Premier League, and now he's got rid of it.
Yeah,
I've got the best beard on this pod.
David Raya has a nice beard.
Yeah, but he doesn't grow it out.
I like goalkeepers with beards.
I want full beards
on goalkeepers.
Right, so grow the beard back, Alisson. That's all I'll say. So that was the evening kickoff. Then we move to the Sunday games. Let's go with Ipswich, Aston Villa.
Yes,
it's Sunday. The game must finish 2-2.
Yeah, it seems every weekend we have a 2-2. Luckily, Manchester United put a good end to that at 4:30 on Sunday, but. I mean, Aston Villa played... Normally, we've spoken every week that Aston Villa have started slow and gone on to win the game. And this was the complete opposite. They started quite well. Mm-hmm. Jacob Greaves absolutely gifted Morgan Rogers his first goal. Passed it. It was a woeful clearance. Just cleared it into the centre of the box where Morgan Rogers was stood there. Nice 1-2 with Ollie Watkins to get him the assist for his FPL points and puts it in the back of the net. Mm-hmm. But outside of that, this was Ipswich... great performance, more than I thought anything from Aston Villa. They've got, I think, Bayern Munich midweek, so they've got one eye on...
With Kane out.
One eye on the Champions League. Watkins and Rogers did look good, but this was more the Ipswich show than I thought it was the Aston Villa show. They had doubled the shots, doubled the big chances, more XG, and then Rory Delap doing what... Rory Delap?
No.
Liam Delap.
Liam Delap, yeah.
Delap's son.
Yeah.
With 2 great goals, particularly the second one, a fantastic finish. So, I mean, Aston Villa, I think they would take a point the way that this game went.
Really?
Going into the game, they wouldn't, of course, but the way the game went, I think they'd take the point and go to Bayern Munich. And I think Ipswich could have taken this game away from them. I think 2 was probably a fair result.
And who is it Ipswich got next week?
We were talking about West Ham.
That's
no spoiler to my
win that.
No spoiler to my predictions, but I have an away Ipswich win in that fixture.
I think Ipswich are going to win that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's nice to see. 2 goals for Liam Delap. 4.5? Is he
5.5.
Is he 5.5?
Yeah. The other thing to mention is Rogers went off when they were 2-1 up with a tight hamstring, apparently. So they've obviously gone, well, we don't want to risk him. And they have dropped points maybe as a result because he is playing very well. Yeah. So it'll be interesting to keep an eye. I expect him to rock up midweek and play all the minutes. But
I think, with watching... the way Bayern Munich played amazing this season, but they were held against Leverkusen, and I think it's going to be a really, really interesting game because Villa have now found a bit of form. I know they drew this game, but this is what you want to get into the Champions League for. Fair, beating young boys is one thing, but playing against Bayern Munich at home. Unbelievable. So I'm going to really try and make sure I watch that one.
Yeah, the John Duran goals dried up as well. Maybe they'll have to come back.
Did he start?
No. He came on. He came on for Rogers when he needed to go off, and they play a 2 up front. Okay. So yeah, we will continue every week. There's Ipswich loving that we have, and we want them to stay up. Yeah. And it was another good performance from them. They just need to get their first win under the belt, and they will be off and running as well. I have been impressed with them, and again impressed here to go toe to toe with a team like Aston Villa. Was good.
There was a little bit of controversy about Morsey's should have got a second yellow card. I think he should have done.
Yeah.
But more inconsistency with the VAR. Now
I know I don't want VAR to get involved, but do you think VAR should get involved when it implement a red card?
Yes, absolutely. I think it's so stupid saying that you can't get involved in a yellow card. Obviously, I understand that you don't want to. You can't slow the game down and check every yellow card. But when it's a red card, surely they have to look at. I mean, that is ridiculous.
Question though: if you get the VAR involved for the second yellow on a red card, should they then review the first yellow? No. But what happens if the second one's a yellow?
It doesn't matter. That's
so
gone.
Like Calafiori at the weekend.
Yeah, but that's gone.
So Calafiori would have been sent off.
Yes.
But the first one shouldn't have been a yellow.
Yeah, but that's fine.
See,
you can't retrospectively go back.
Yeah, but then you don't book him for the second time. So you just say, well, you're not getting sent off.
No. Okay, it's a good question, but I think, no, you just review, was that one a yellow to result in a red? Not that if it's a yellow, it's a yellow. But, or if it's not a yellow. Like, I mean, the thing is, the argument with all of this is that, well, if they kicked the ball away, it should have been a yellow.
Oh, now there'll be loads of those.
Yes.
Oh, well, he's on a yellow and he's kicked the ball away, so you've got to go and send him off. Yeah. So, yeah. Anyway,
just stop booking players for kicking the ball away unless it is so obvious.
Yeah. Another game that happened in the big Super Sunday, last game that we've had so far. Manchester United 0.
This is the shock of the week, right? 3-0 at home.
Okay, yeah, it was a shock. But I don't think it's that, like, if you'd have given me the top 4 predicted results that you could have given, like, outcomes of this game, Man United capitulating would have been in my top 4 things that could have happened in this game.
Yes, but I predicted 3-3 in this game.
Well, you got one half of it, right?
Yeah, I did, yeah. I think because of the way Man United played against Palace in the second half, but then I know they drew against Twente in the week. Like, have we checked? Has Ten Hag been sacked during this podcast?
I haven't. So let me actually have a look, because I actually don't think.
Because they've got, who have they got in? I know they've got Villa next weekend.
So a tweet this morning from Sam C Reports, who
friend of mine.
Is he?
Came to see Les Mis.
Really?
Loves it.
Okay. I'm told that Erik Ten Hag will think enough work has been done around the Dutchman to warrant a longer stay. It's understood that Erik will remain in charge for the games against Porto and Aston Villa, but is now under pressure. Under pressure.
I love stuff like that. No, it's more just like, and I love Sam, right? But
that's news for the second.
Anyone can write that. I'm like, guys, they're really keeping an eye on him.
Yeah, he's not doing well.
Turns out, right, if he loses the next 2 games, well, then he's gone. Right,
well, then it's international break. Best time to sack a manager.
Yeah.
So
Tata, he's gone. But yeah, annoying, because I was hoping Arsenal could get to play them before he gets sacked.
So, I mean, the first thing is, do you think he should get sacked?
Yes.
Yeah.
But let's look at all the managers they've sacked. It doesn't make a difference.
No. And like, yes, they were horrible in this game. Yeah. And then Bruno gets sent off, and then you're like, well, okay, the game is what it is after that. But before he got sent off, they would have lost the game anyway.
Agreed. There was like one chance where Casemiro and Garnacho combined quite well at 2-0 down. But I mean, other than that, defensively it was awful. I don't like what I'm seeing from Rashford as well. Like, he looks he's throwing his arms up in the air. He looks, like if something doesn't go his way, he just seems shoulders drops and that's it. And he doesn't, and it's not all of the United players. I think a lot of them do look like they're trying, but defensive, they were awful. Yeah. I mean, they laid out the red carpet for Van de Ven just to run through.
I mean, it's an incredible assist, but he's walked past 4 of their midfielders.
But I would also like to say that instead of just going straight on how bad Man United were, Tottenham were fantastic. Yeah. And I've been saying all season that I do think Tottenham are playing really well and deserve more points than they've been getting.
However, the first thing that comes to mind when they're 1-0 up and playing really well before the red card is they're going to blow it. And why is that the first thing that comes to your mind when you're watching Spurs 1-0 up in a game where they're dominating?
Because that's who we are, mate.
Yeah. But they were really good. And Brennan Johnson, that's 4 goals in 4. Dominic Solanke finding the back of the net as well. The second half, when they were, I think, 2-0 up and they had the red card, the game just got a bit slow and they weren't as good, but they kind of just closed down.
Since the North London derby, and he suspended his social media, and he scored 4 in 4.
Yeah.
I really like...
And without Son as well. Like, when I saw the lineups without Son, I was like, United are going to get this.
And Kulusevski is looking like the player he was under Conte when he was
really good quotes
season.
From him as well, saying, I've wanted to play this role. I feel like a new man, like I've unlocked something here. So, yeah, keep an eye on them. Yeah.
I'm really pleased that Arsenal played them earlier, because I think we got away with that one. What I was also going to say on that, what else?
Looking at the Man United, do you think it was a red card?
No.
So he slips, doesn't he?
He slips. He still sticks his leg out. It's sort of out of desperation. And the trouble is, like, if you're going to presume a petulant red card, it would be Bruno Fernandes.
I mean,
so
yeah,
a little rat. So I'm glad he got sent off.
This is the thing. I do think there've been enough occasions where he's probably been lucky. So one to be unlucky is not the end.
It's not. I don't think it's a mad injustice. He slips, and then I know he's got a split second to think about it, and I can't argue.
If you're slipping, you shouldn't go for the challenge.
But like, he sticks his leg out. For those of you who are listening, I'm now sticking my leg out. There you go. You can see it. But he sticks it out enough to connect with the player. Now, yes, he could have got the ball, but he didn't get anywhere near the ball.
It was really
and that
high.
is dangerous. That's reckless. Like, it is a red card. I think.
Do you think?
I think it is a red card. Maybe.
And I see people saying, "Oh, well, he slipped." But
that's not enough.
Does him slipping make it not a red card?
No, because he could have slipped and not put his.
Well, if you slip, surely that makes you. The whole thing is we don't want tackles being out of control. And if you slip, you're out of control. Then so you shouldn't then be making tackles while you're slipping.
Agreed. I think it's probably a little bit harsh. He's going to miss 3 games for them.
That's the thing. Like he probably won't play under Erik ten Hag again.
Yeah. True.
Ole will be back at the wheel.
Yeah.
Interim manager. I would say I think it's probably slightly harsh that it was a red card.
Ole said he wanted to come back.
Yeah, no, he's actually linked as an interim manager if they can't find someone else.
Is he not managing anywhere at the moment?
No. So
the other thing, what I was going to say was that Tottenham Hotspur, right? I like I
wonder what this is going to be.
I don't like Tottenham, obviously, but only because of the tribal thing. But where I think they don't help themselves is their social media team. When they beat Qarabag 3-0 in the week, right, with 10 men, their social media team came out with little digs at Arsenal saying, we attack with 10 men. I can't remember the specifics of the tweet, but it was a dig at Arsenal for all the banter that's been coming around because Arsenal put 10 men behind the ball when they were 2-1 up to the best team in the world, right? And I just don't think you help yourselves as a club. Like, and I'm not just saying this because I'm an Arsenal fan, but because there's lots of teams that wouldn't tweet that kind of sort of banter from your social media.
Yeah.
But like, is there any need to tweet something like that? Are you looking for the tweet now?
No.
Oh, right. But I just think in that scenario, you don't help yourself as a banter club.
No.
When you're tweeting stuff like it's like you beat Qarabag 3-0.
Yeah.
And I think Spurs have been playing great.
Yeah.
But why do they need to come and dig at Arsenal? It makes you look like a small club when you do that kind of thing. Just saying.
Yeah, all right.
Okay.
I think that's fair. I mean, if you're right up there with them, then go for it.
And
it is a little bit of...
But I've got Tottenham mates who saw that and said, why are we tweeting that?
Why are we tweeting that?
And that's stuff like that I just think, what are you doing?
Bringing it back to Chelsea, we spoke about this between Newcastle and Spurs.
Yeah.
If you had to pick one to finish higher up this season, Spurs and Chelsea. They're neck and neck in the predictions.
That's a good question.
That might be the battle for fourth.
I think I'll go Chelsea because I think they're in Conference League where with Tottenham in Europa League, I think that's going to be tougher. So I would say Chelsea.
Okay.
Will finish higher.
Okay. I mean, we'll see how Man United are over the international break and we'll do a couple of pods there as well.
Yeah.
We'll see whether Erik ten Hag does keep his job over the next couple of games.
I think if
they lose the next two,
absolutely shambolic. And even people like Gary Neville going, I've tried to defend him, but I can't defend that anymore. That was unbelievable, and it really was. It was almost deranged. Yeah. Like, what are you? It's like, how on earth were you playing like that?
Their new signing Ujarat, who they've all been as the
60 million,
and they had to bring Casemiro on to try and protect him, and he's the one he's meant to be replacing. So was not at all. I mean, Højlund back
Ujarat,
off the bench.
Is that how you pronounce it?
I don't think so.
It was Ugarte.
It may well be.
I don't know.
It may well be.
Comment.
Butchered that. But yeah, Spurs good, Man United not good is the headline from that one. One more game, which will be tonight. Bournemouth. Semenyo hat-trick is... I'm sure by the time you're all watching this, Semenyo has scored his hat-trick and my FPL week is not looking quite as bad as it does at the moment with 31 points. On Wildcard, interesting game going tonight, though. I expect Bournemouth to win it. I think they've got enough firepower.
Are they at home?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, look, let's not do too much on that because obviously we previewed it a bit last week. And I want to have a little bit of time to talk about your wild card. Now, Harry, you used your wild card. You followed the crowd. Everyone doing their wild card. Gameweek 6. Mm-hmm. I didn't use my wild card. Yeah. And I did text you a few times going, am I doing the right thing? And I know in your final decisions video, you were like, you can still use your wild card even if you've left it this late. How do you feel now? Do you think you made the wrong choice?
The only difference would maybe be playing it this week.
Okay.
But the fact... So part of the reason is we didn't know David Raya was going to play. Yeah. And he was definitely one of the reasons I wanted to wildcard. Mm-hmm. Now, in the end, it wasn't anything. My non-wildcard team is only about 6 points better off than my current wildcard team. And I've gained a bit of value. I maybe would go Cole Palmer now, I think is the thing.
Anyone else?
Maybe I'd go Watkins, but then I went Solanke and their fixture's coming up and it would be one of them. So I look at my team this weekend. I think the one player that I look at in it that I'm already concerned about. So I went Rico Lewis. I don't mind that. I still think he'll play. Yeah. Is Luis Diaz. So let's see if he plays midweek and then it's him starting against Palace. They are the early kickoff, so I might get to know. I'm not that disheartened by it. Like Chris Wood had the goal chalked out for offside. Mm-hmm. Ederson gives away a penalty, which I don't think should have been a penalty for the Lewis clean sheet. Arsenal,
you were never considering Palmer as well.
So I posted a draft which had triple Arse defence and Palmer instead of Saka. And part of me wishes I'd done it now, but I just don't think I ever would have tripled up in a defence.
Will you potentially sell Saka for Palmer?
Possible. I may also look to free up money to do Luis Diaz up to Palmer and sell Trent as well. Okay. So I can do a couple of things. I'm pretty certain I won't use a transfer this week. The other thing is I sold Morgan Rogers. Yeah. But I wouldn't have played him this week anyway.
Would you not?
No, like he was. Okay. This was part of the reason I didn't want to go.
You benched him and Robinson probably.
I didn't go for Robinson.
No, as in if you'd have kept.
No. If I had not wildcard, I would have started Rodgers.
Oh, I see.
But right, if I'd have gone Rodgers over Smith Rowe on my wildcard, I wouldn't have played him. He would have been on my bench. There's no one in my starting 11 I would have benched over him. And this was their best fixture for the next 8 weeks, so I just didn't go with it. I went with Smith Rowe instead.
I'm going to wildcard this week.
Yeah, and I would go Palmer.
Okay, over Saka.
You can build it with both if you don't go Trent.
Yeah.
So it's possible to go both.
Maybe I'll come out for Trent. Trent's not had this monster score that we're all waiting for.
He scored 11 last week.
Was it?
Yeah. Clean sheet and assist.
He's had one? No, okay then, fine. Okay.
So yeah, if I was on wildcard this week, I would have Cole Palmer in.
Okay. Would you have Watkins in?
I don't know if you can afford it.
Okay.
I would look at it, of course, but then Solanke's fixtures look pretty good. Like they're playing that Brighton team who defended horribly against us.
Johnson?
Maybe. Yeah. If you over Luis Diaz.
Would you want Porro?
No.
Any other Chelsea players other than Palmer?
No, our fixtures over the next few are not that great. You could look at a Colwell or something, but defensively we were horrible.
Okay. I also think Martinelli is now an option.
Do you think?
Because now he scored, he got an assist. I think he plays a lot better with Calafiori, although potentially he's injured. Calafiori, we don't. That's unconfirmed.
Arteta said this morning he needs to keep an eye on both him and Ben White for the game tomorrow.
Yeah. Keeping an eye isn't as bad as he's injured. I also think when Merino, who is due to be involved next week, when he starts with Martinelli, Merino, and Calafiori,
is Martinelli definitely nailed over Trossard?
He is at the moment, yeah. Okay. Until Odegaard's fit again. Although Nwaneri, keep an eye on him. Came on, played really well. And he's only 4.5.
Yeah.
Came on and played really well. Almost scored against Leicester. Okay, enough FPL.
Yeah. Predictions.
Yes.
So thank you to all 50 of you who joined the Super Brew.
Is it 50 people?
Yeah.
So that's amazing.
If you're listening this time for the first time, there is still time to enter. The app is called Super Brew Football. It has a purple logo with a football on it. There are 2 Super Brew apps. You want the football specific one. It's just slightly easier to use. The code to join will be up on screen and it is SOLOFOGS, SOLOFOGS. There are 50 of you in. I am currently marooned. I've had an awful week.
Oh, no.
I am 36th out of 52. Okay. And do you want to know how many points I got?
How many?
Where am I? 3.5.
Wow.
Yeah. Where are you?
Keep on your mic.
Yeah. Where are you?
I don't know.
You're higher up. You've got 6.5.
Hey!
At the top of the league, with 10.5 at the moment, is Danish. Of course, there is still one more game to go.
Was he called Danish?
Danish.
Lovely.
Sick away on just 0.5 behind.
What are they on?
10 and 10.5.
What did I get? 6.5?
Yeah. So
that's all right.
Yeah, but you can't catch them.
Okay.
BK Spongovic also won 10. So that is our top 3.
He's a friend of Thomas Souček.
For round 6. We will have a look at round scores every single week. So if you want to get a little shout out at the end of the pod, then make sure you are in. We need to do our predictions for next weekend.
Yes, we do.
First game up is the early kickoff. Crystal Palace, Liverpool.
I'm going to not look at yours.
I've gone 3-0 Liverpool into this game. Okay. I don't think Palace will test Liverpool nearly enough.
I think that is going to be 2-1 to Liverpool.
Okay. Arsenal, Southampton?
3-0 Arsenal.
I've gone 3-0 for that as well.
Okay.
No, none of us have Southampton scoring. Brentford, Wolves. I've gone for Brentford to score more than 1 goal and to score outside of the first minute in this game.
Do you think they're going to score in the first minute again?
No.
Against Wolves?
No.
I'd like to see the odds on that.
2-1 Brentford.
2-1 Brentford. I think that'll be... Oh! I'm going to go for 2-2.
Desmond.
Leicester, Bournemouth. I think that'll be 2-1 to Bournemouth.
Away win. I think Leicester will get a point again. So I've gone 1-1 here.
Okay.
Manchester City, Fulham. I think City will win, but I'm just wondering how easy life's going to be for Manchester City at the moment. So I've gone 2-1 Manchester
City.
They've
got Bratislava or something in the week.
I mean, it's basically a full rest.
Full rotation. I think Man City win that 3-1.
West
Ham,
Ipswich.
come the ex-Arsenal boys. West Ham, Ipswich. I think that's going to be a 2-1 win for Ipswich.
Yeah, I've actually gone the same. Maybe we're underestimating West Ham. Maybe this will be the game where West Ham just go and win it. So
maybe
I'll change it. I'll go 2-1 home win. We'll do something a little bit different.
All right.
Everton versus Newcastle. I've gone Desmond 2-2 here.
Yeah, I think I would agree with that, especially if Isak's recovered from his sore foot.
Aston Villa, Manchester United.
I mean, the thing is, if Villa didn't have Champions League, it would be different. But I think with the Champions League...
but then Man United have Europa League against Porto.
2-0. 2-0 Villa.
I've gone 3-1. Okay. I don't know who I think is going to score for United, especially without Bruno. Maybe they won't score. Yeah. And will it be Ten Hag's last game?
Yes.
Wow. Yes. This time next week we'll be looking at the
Gareth Southgate,
the ruins of Ole. We'll be singing Ole at the wheel.
Oh, Ole at the wheel.
Ole at the wheel. Chelsea, Nottingham Forest. This is our bogey team, but I'm going for a home 2-1 win.
I'm going to go for 3-0.
Wow.
No, 3-1.
Have you watched us defend?
3-1.
Yeah. And then finally, Brighton versus Spurs. I've gone.
This will be fun.
Desmond 2-2 again. We predict way too many Desmonds, and then they don't. Sunday though. Sunday Desmond.
I'm going to go for another 3-0.
Wow.
I went 3-0 for Tottenham this week. I'm going to 3-0 again next week.
You've got to predict a 3-0 result every single week.
Yeah,
and one week you'll get it right.
Yeah,
maybe
exactly.
Not. Maybe not.
Even a broken clock is right twice
a day. Unless you break it too much, and then it doesn't tell the time at all.
Guys, please do like and subscribe. Follow the podcast. Give us a little rating. You can watch it on Spotify.
Yeah.
You can watch it on YouTube. We've been really, really enjoying doing this.
Yeah, we have.
Please keep sending your comments, especially the ones that call Harry a nerd. We particularly enjoy those ones.
Thanks. I especially love those ones. But yeah, again, like the questions at the beginning of the pod, we want you to send them in. So if you have footballing questions specific to the Premier League or wider, send them in and we will answer them at the top of the pod every single week.
And if we like them, we'll give you a little shout out.
Yeah.
You know, if your name isn't rude.
Yeah.
If your name's
rude, we'll give you a shout out and not read the rude parts.
Yeah. FPL Dave.
Yeah.
So yeah, do give us your big footballing questions because we like
What's Dave ever done
those.
to you?
I don't know. He's a really nice guy.
Yeah.
But yes, lovely to see you all. Lovely to see you too.
Thank you.
I'm off to go
next week.
Rehearse Les Mis.
Yeah.
What are you off to do now?
Some videos.
FPL content.
Yeah.
Keep it coming. Help me with my wild card.
Yeah. Do it just like my wild card.
No.
31 points.
I'm following Raptor this week. Thank you. All the best, man. See you next week.
Thanks, guys.